Hello, this is the video that I promised. It's measurements and materials for my G27 racing cockpit. I guess we'll start off with the seat. For a reference point, we're going to use the bottom frame here. These are both flat, and this is 90 degrees. And that lines up with the very front edge of the cockpit. So, from the front edge to actually the front of the seat, I've got roughly 27.5 inches. You're going to have to adjust it for every type of seat. This seat is from 96 Z24. They're pretty cheap. The height from the bottom of the top of the frame here, the main frame, is actually 12 inches, 12 to 12.5 inches. The height is going to be one of the keyer things you're going to want to keep in mind. You're going to want to test fit it. I got this set up so I slid a little more upright than normal. It's just a little more comfortable for me. But the back and forward, you might be able to keep all the controls from whatever seat you get. So the up and down is going to be a real critical factor that you got here. I made this real adjustable. I suggest you taking the time and doing it as well so that you can just play with it. For the seat, we have inch and a half box beam. I just put a little elbows and filled in the ends. My buddy helped me out. He's a great guy to do it all. Took quite a while actually. So this seat can actually move back and forth with the adjustments of the stock parts that were on the car. Based on those dimensions that you get off your seat, you're going to have to adjust the height of this frame. So I'm not even going to give it to you. Just let you know mine is about 12.5 inches off this base measurement that we're taking. The whole frame, this whole bottom frame, is the inch and a half just steel. Everything's steel, welded together. Especially best looking thing I could come up with. The foot pan right here, we got 1/8 inch diamond plate. Just double check that. Yep, 1/8 inch. It's very sturdy, even for the floor plate. Easily, if you don't want to put in this reverse mount pedals, I originally did have it attached to the bottom with the plate. The way I actually got these pedals mounted was I had the plate down there. I just took one of these pedals out and I flipped it over and I made sure it was the exact angle, and it ended up being just about a 60-degree angle between here and here. So just plan on that. This actually nicely comes right out to the front edge here. So it actually lines up right straight with this measurement. I will give you the height right now of that from that very little corner down here. Hey, get out of there. It's actually exactly 12 inches. I went up 12 inches. The top piece is just an angle, and I just drilled a hole through the back and used the same mounting points that you would use for mounting it to the bottom here. Just play with, I'll give you this measurement right here, but just play with it, make sure it fits right. 8.5 inches from here to here. This thing right here is actually made out of, the two end pieces are box tubing, and these are just 1-inch pieces, and this is actually just a 1-inch by 1-inch L channel. And that was the best way I could get it to fit up in there. Depending on what material you use, you'll have to adjust this in and out. This worked out great for me because I can just take these pedals and they actually recess up in here a little bit. Make sure you hide your wiring a little bit. That's why I use these tubings right here. It protects your wiring a little bit. So if I actually just do a measurement from here, I'll just give you measurements to these two back pedals right here because they're about the same, and it just gives you guys a few ideas. So to the top corner right here, we're looking at about 8 1/4 inches. And to the bottom there, we're looking at about 10 inches. So play with that. Remember, 60-degree angle, that's about what I got mine set at. It seems pretty well. I do have the spring mod in here that you can buy off the internet. It does make it so you want to wear shoes when you play it, but it does feel better. Moving on. This is going to come into play here. My seat tilts back and forth with all the factory mountings, so that's going to play a little bit of adjustment for where you want this. This whole system right here, I've got it with welded nuts on here, and we put Allen screws in there, and it can adjust up. I have a large adjustment for this, so it can move back and forth. But I will actually give you the measurement right here. We're going to go for the top plate of the bottom of the G27, and I'm going to give you the front measurement right here. So that first to the plate, from the top, this is our reference down here. From the top here, I have 23 inches. Wow, 23 inches. And you know, this is going to come into play too. So, I mean, these are just measurements that I'm giving you, because whatever height you set this is going to adjust. So just use these as reference numbers. Moving from the front back here, I just have this strapped up there 2 foot square so I can get a little bit pull off it. I'm looking at 24 1/4 inches to the back here. And then again, that's going to change with where you put your seat. This is just reference numbers, so 24 1/4 inches from the front to the back here. And I got actually adjustments right here. This is where my adjustment is to move back and forth. The bolt patterns in here, there's you can get actually on the internet. They have the bolt patterns for the G25. I don't know if they're quite with the G27. Just grab one of these tape measures and measure away. If you can build this, you can measure holes. The next one we're going to do, the angle right here. You may want to figure out some kind of way to play an angle on here. This is fine, but I imagine if you get a bigger wheel, it's going to be a little more difficult. It's not bad. I actually like my wheel. I probably won't be upgrading. The setup is real top notch for me. So we'll get a few measurements over here on the shifter. From the top plate to the top of the diamond plate that I've got here, I've got 17 1/4 inches. I've got adjustment up here to move it up and down, but you're going to want to kind of dial these in. I couldn't come up with a great way, but 2.0 I'll have a better solution. So from the front there, I'm just going to eyeball it back here. I just got roughly to the center line. I've got about 28 3/4. And then if I go for the shifter, I got it just set so I got a little bit back here. I got about 2 inches between the top right here. Depending on the e-brake you use, I mean, you could even do a rally style, but this is how I got mine. This is from a 96 Escort. I see someone's been using like an S2000, or actually one e-brake that I've seen recently that I've taken apart would be good, would be a Ford Focus. They had what looked like a PE. Might be a pretty easily adaptable e-brake. This I actually had to do some cutting on. Check out my video for some pictures on that. This is once again made out of 1-inch steel. This over here is made out of 1-inch steel. This little cover I just sewed together. I actually got wheels on here. All you do is drill a hole in the bottom, weld a nut on there, and you can actually screw these in. The plate down here, I have it pitched so the diamond plate is level at the top and down at the bottom. The diamond plate runs 19 inches back. Seems to be alright. I'm trying to find some kind of piece of rubber to put on there because it does kind of get a little slippery. You get used to it. The one downfall with the G27 is that the extra connection wire going from here to here is pretty short, so that's why I got this run like this. Might as well show you. Here's the cup holder that I got on here. I just came off a little bit. I do have one little thing right here. You got to get in here. It's not bad. Just watch your knee. If I was doing this, I probably would have actually just bumped it up and had to come up top. I was thinking this might be a good area for a little of a tray for like a remote or something. But this is actually made out of 1/4 inch, just round bar. Bent it, painted it. Everything's just painted with primer, and then of course I just use an automotive paint, black with this situation, and put a little bit of clear coat on her. What else? If you've got any questions, I can try to get a measurement for you. That's it. I hope you enjoyed the show, and it gives some people some informative information.